Thank you for joining me. I have a special guest. He is a model, actor, film director, and producer in his own right, social entrepreneur, and star of OWN's hit dramatic series, Queen Sugar. Please help me welcome my Ghanaian American brother, Kofi Siribo. Kofi, how you doing, man?
Well, man, thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, I've been making it my practice ever since this global pandemic has been going on to always open my interviews with how's everything been? How's your family? So I'm going to extend that to you. How's everyone in this crazy, volatile climate? How is everyone on Earth?
I appreciate that first of all, but everybody's great, man. You know, the family's great, moms and pops. They've been working out. They've been taking like little couple walks around the neighborhood. My bros are straight. Everybody's good, you know, and I think mentally we're at the other side of what the pandemic has presented. I think it was just like, you know, it was a real journey, just really just sitting with ourselves for 6 months and not really having a guarantee of a return to normalcy, and being honest, challenging what we consider normal simply because we're in the situation we were in. But everybody good. Everybody's is normalizing COVID at this point. You know, it's like it is what it is. Like life continues. You know.
Yeah, you're so right. Normalizing COVID, it's kind of become the mask, and social distance has become just a way of life now. I remember when I found out, I had heard rumblings about COVID and the pandemic, but when I really knew this was serious was when the manager of our office came and said, "Hey, we have to shut it down. We working from home." Right. And I'm like, "What?" And it was abrupt, like just all of a sudden. It was no memo that came out, and I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" Like I was like, "What is this really?"
It was something similar. We started filming season 5. We shot the first episode that week, and the next week it was just like, yeah, so we're gonna take a pause and we'll be back in April. Yeah, from September, you know what I'm saying? We was back for real, you know.
And you know, I mean, I've been on sets, productions, they don't like to stop nothing.
At all, you know, so if they stop and you know it's real, it's like real, you know.
It's real. So you've been acting since you were 5. I was shocked to hear that. What how did you know you had this gift?
Man, honestly, it was organic. You know, it was never identified as a gift for me at least. But even knowing the story of how we got into it, my mom, I think the gift is my mom walking around with these 3, you know, boys. You know, her little 5'3" self, 3 African boys in LA. You know, people always were like, your kids should be on the commercials and the TV, you know what I'm saying? So she actually followed up with that. And, you know, over time, we just, you know, overly valued the outreach that was possible through a forum like Hollywood, despite all of the craziness of the environment, the nature of the environment. But I didn't know, you know, and I can't even say that I'm one of those actors who's like a thespian, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not me being funny, but it's just like, I really just love people, you know what I'm saying? And I really, and I mean that deeply. So like, that's the fuel. That's where my passion comes from. It's just my love of like people and like outreach, you know?
So good. Many, and I know the ladies definitely can identify, remember you from the breakout role in Girls Trip. And it's kind of like when you're an artist and you have that hit song, and it's like you do 20 albums, but everybody go back to that one song.
Right.
but we have to cover that a little bit. Girls Trip, you played the love interest for the beautiful and amazing Jada Pinkett Smith. I have to ask, were you nervous at all with that?
Absolutely. Like, and I mean, I think the nerves naturally just excitement, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's like, I'm excited. Like as Jada P, you know, as the legend, you know, as Will Smith's wife, like, you know, being a young, I'm like, that's Will Smith's wife, you know what I'm saying? Just, it's like, but that's Jada, man, you know? So I was just grateful. I was honored. I was like, I'm gonna make sure my breath don't stink, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just be on point. I'm gonna just make sure I do what I gotta do. So I make sure the movie fire, you know. Nah, but it was just, that's some surreal stuff right there. It was yeah.
yeah. In the infamous scene, I imagine it was like, okay, I gotta stand up. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you was tight and right. I mean,
of course. I was out here in New Orleans in the heat in the middle of July. I was running. I ran into Will Packer. One day I was running and it was like Essence going on. So I ran past the dome and it was like early. This was 2016, my first year in New Orleans. So I ain't know. I ain't know where I was. I didn't, I wasn't worried about nothing. Nobody was worried about me. Like I was still anonymous. But I remember running the Will. I was like, I'm gonna see you on set. You see, I'm getting right. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it serious. But, yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. It's needless to say that ladies have looked at you in a whole different light since that movie. And I have to ask, because entertainment can put so many emphasis on physicality. I'm wondering, has that become a distraction for you at all? And if so, how do you manage?
That's a great question. I don't feel like nobody ever asked me that. But it definitely has, but like a warranted distraction. I felt like just with the whole fame stuff in general, I felt like it really happened for me quick, even though I'm from LA and like I've been around a lot, when it's happening to you, the way it was happening to me and kind of Girls Trip it just all kept happening. That being said, it was a warranted distraction. It was warranted distraction. Like I was, I love that. I want to say too much. I'm like, what can I say?
You can be open, please.
Nah, but on the real, bro, because you asked the real question. And like, people always say, are you like, is the sex symbol, da da da? I don't lean into that because that was never my come from. Like I was always an actor. And like I told you, like even with that, I'm a people person. So I just do it because I love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm like, yo, I got a brain. Like, Queen Sugar is a show where like, I really get to emote. You get to really see the dimension of me as a human being. And it's like, it comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes with the territory. I think more than anything, I just got to remember that that's not my identity. And that's not something that I have to keep up with. I feel like that's what I've seen in the past. I've seen people I've looked up to felt like they had to keep up to that or be limited to that. And it's like, man, I'm such an artist and such a full human. I just got to be that. You know what I'm saying? I just got to be myself and just remember, that's just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Absolutely. You mentioned Queen Sugar and you play the young man character, Ralph. What's Ralph's last name? Ralph Angel. That's right, Ralph Angel. I got to go back to that audition when you were called into the room. What was that experience like for you?
Man, I remember like yesterday. It was simple because it was just Aisha and Ava initially. It wasn't like I've been in rooms where it's like 8 people, etc. But it was just those 2 ladies, and it was just me, and I just remember being so locked in, like I wasn't even talking. I wouldn't even really look at Ava like that. Like I was just so locked into the character. And like after the read, she was like, so now tell me about you. Like, who are you? Like, who is this person who just walked into the room? And that's kind of where our relationship began. And like, I love Ava for not making me jump through hoops. She saw me. She believed in me. You know what I'm saying? And she signed off on it. And yeah, that's respect. I love her for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Your character has such a huge responsibility as a Black young father. I'm curious, what has Ralph Angel taught Kofi Sirba?
Man, trust the process. Trust the process. I feel like, again, being a young person coming to New Orleans, to work on this project, it was such a big win for me as an actor. I auditioned my whole life, over 10 years. So to get that project and that same year, a Girls Trip happens and it comes out the next, it's just been such a journey, such an obliteration of identity. I feel like I lived in a box my whole life. Granted, I lived in Cali, so it was a big ass box, but like I also really was protective of my space. And through the space of Ralph Angel, I've been able to like give context to things that I never was really able to identify within myself. So through this journey of fame, of success, of, all of it, trust the process. Cause like when it comes to the women, when it comes to the money, when it comes to, the love, that's the messed up part. It's love. It's like, it's love. It's crazy to talk about it as if it's anything but that. But sometimes even oversaturation of love could be unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Especially for one person. And you know, Ralph Angel, Ralph Angel has taught me to trust the process, because from where he started, literally episode 1, robbing the store, to where he's at. Y'all ain't seen him season 5 yet, but such an evolution, you know what I'm saying? And I just relate and I respect it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, trust the process.
Absolutely. You mentioned the lovely Ava DuVernay, who's the creator and director of
The
Queen
queen,
Ship,
queen,
The Queen.
sugar.
Absolutely, absolutely. Much respect to her. I have to ask, you're on a set with several amazing women from all different backgrounds, cultures. What has that taught Kofi? Because I can imagine you're getting schooled, and whoever
I take
gets you in the
take my lessons and I go get in trouble outside of class. Nah, but genuinely, like I just try and be a student. You know, like when I was younger, I always had like girlfriends, you know what I'm saying, and girlfriends. And I always just admire women, like on some like yo, I really want to understand like all of this, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just on some like I'm a student. Like I like to, like I said, I love people. So being around women from, you know, all ages. You got Ethan's, you know, Ethan who plays Blue. We got his little sister who's 5, and then we go all the way to Tina Lifford, and then we got people. It's just it's such a spectrum of women, you know. And I mean, I've learned so much, and it's like they're all the same in such a simple, holistic way, but then every single one of them is so unique. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I couldn't that's not you just that's something you can only learn on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just blessed to be able to get a front row seat to something like that, for real.
Yeah. You mentioned girlfriends and girlfriends. I would be remiss.
That's the part you caught, huh?
I have to get an audience what they want. So the ladies, they always want to know what a gentleman like yourself in the upper echelon of entertainment, and growing continually. What does he look for in a young lady? Valentine's Day is coming. What would you look for in a young lady?
I was just saying this to a lady friend of mine. Like, I think it's so powerful. What I look for in a lady is what I would try and instill in my daughters, my future daughters. I just think it's something powerful about a woman who can communicate where she is, where she isn't, who she is, who she isn't, fluidly, without it being like a defense, but more so it not even being offensive, more so of just a fact of like, this is who I am, this is where I'm at, and this is why, if necessary, if that needs to be communicated. I think that's, you know, that's so respectable, because I feel like naturally women always like have to be what everybody else wants them to be. They're always playing a role, whether it's mom, whether it's sister, whether it's partner. But like when I've met women who just challenge me by being themselves, you know what I'm saying? Just because they're not easily swayed by none of it. You know what I'm saying? They really are just solid in who they are and where they are. That's
Yeah, that's a must. That's a must. In light of the work that you're doing on set as an actor, you have ambitions as a director. Oh, look at the little one. That's one of your friends.
It's my girlfriend right here. You feel me?
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
Keep out of trouble, man.
But you have ambitions as a producer and director yourself. You worked on a couple of projects on your own. Give us some insight into those.
Projects on my own. So my first project was Jump. You know, I made that 2016, fresh out of Queen Sugar. I was like, you know, I always wanted to make my own film, you know, and I wanted to shoot in New York. So I did that. But really what that journey taught me was just, it more so affirmed like, yo, I really love this. You know what I'm saying? During quarantine, I created a project called We're Not Kids Anymore. And it's you know, it's a media lifestyle brand. And pretty much we're launching with like a virtual timeline, and it's going to be online. And it's a time capsule starting in like the year 2000 and to the present time. But it's just documenting all the things that's happened, like this information age, this technology, like advancement, like from the iPhones, the iPods, the computers, the Wikipedias, the PayPal, social media. I mean, don't get in a car with a stranger, then it's Uber. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it doesn't, you know, it just keeps going. So yeah, I keep going. I'm just trying to stay creative and try and stay inspired and try and keep telling stories and keep connecting the dots, you know.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned telling stories, and you mentioned your film Jump. I have to bring that out because it talks about a very serious issue that we're dealing with in our culture now, and that's mental illness, even suicide prevention.
Absolutely.
Why was that message important for
I mean, as you said, that's just where we are. You know what I'm saying? As a people, I feel like when I say that's where we are, we're like on the verge of freedom. You know, not a freedom that anybody could really like allot us, but more so um, freedom space, like spatially. You know what I'm saying? We can't. Basically, they say you can't heal what you don't reveal. Like right now, there's so much coming to the surface due to the history of trauma we've experienced. We have a chance to really start fresh and reimagine ourselves, especially through the youth. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to embody and absorb all that trauma and not have somewhere to transmute it and put it. I think really taking this place that we are, you know, as a community and just like rethinking the conversation of mental health in general. I just think that term sounds like sick and clinical, you know what I'm saying? But taking it serious just because of what comes after. And it's like after the pain comes the joy, you know, and it's like there's so much joy on the other side of this for us, and it's right here. We've done the hard part, and this might seem hard, but it's just necessary, and it might be a little difficult, but it's necessary. So like how do we support each other to do that healing, you know, as a community, as a culture? And I think the conversation around mental wellness and inner fitness is like it's inevitable. It's here, it's happening.
Absolutely. I just got had a tweetable moment for you. I love those. I'm writing it down. You said this might seem hard, but it's really just necessary. So I'm gonna make sure I quote you on that because that's a powerful statement and one that we all need to remember. Listen, 2017 was 16 to 17 was such an amazing year for you. I'm wondering, retrospectively speaking, do you feel like you were ready for this fame and this level of recognition?
I mean, I guess from being on the other side of it, how could you ever really be ready for God? You know what I'm saying? I guess the only way you can be ready for God is by being ready for God. So it's like that's what I was ready for. I was ready to be used and I was ready to be a vessel. And I wholeheartedly did that. Was I ready to learn about how crazy this world is, how much evil exists, you know, and it's simply I've just had the space and the access to see it more clearly. It's not something that I never knew or didn't feel, but you know, I mean, again, you go from this box to that. So like, yeah, I was ready because I'm still ready. Like there's no destination. Like the journey was always what I loved about, you know, repping for God. Like he takes you where he wants to take you and you just gotta follow. So like I've been following and you got me here still. Like I'm still good. I've taken my bruises, my cuts, and I've learned, and I'm gonna be able to pass that along. So, you know, it's been a journey, man. I've been,
Absolutely. As mentioned before, you're a Ghanaian American, and you had the awesome privilege of traveling back to the country for the first time, I believe, around the 2015-16 time frame. What was that experience like?
Man, it was amazing. It was just a long time coming, you know, like being from Ghana, you know, or knowing I was from Ghana, being from Ghana, never being able to actually go back until I was, you know, 21, 22. It was, you know, it was beautiful at first, but then over time, I realized when I got back 2017, like just realizing how much I've been missing out on, you know, that didn't feel good. Like it feels good to like, oh, I did it. But then I always say it's the, and then what? It's like, all right, and then what? Now I went to Africa. Now what? Like, so I'm just supposed to just go back and just act like act regular. Like, why I could like it amplified a lot of disconnections and a lot of things that I never had context to, a lot of identity issues that I couldn't even identify. I just wondered why I was so repulsed to so much. And it's because they try to offer you these identities. And I'm just like, that's not, I'm cool. But like, I was like, but then like, who am I? What, you have those thoughts sometimes, and it's like, oh, okay, I know exactly who I am and why I don't know fully who I am. But now I got to do the work again. I got to embrace the pain that comes with healing, because on the other side of that is Africa. It's a whole space of people who look like me, who are for me. And it's like, man, we have all the resources in the world. I don't see no complaining on this side.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I got a few years on you. I know I don't look like it, but I got a couple years on you. But I know, especially as young Black men, as we grow older in life, we tend to realize some of the things that our parents did and respect and honor the decisions they made, even though at the time it didn't feel good.
Absolutely.
And I know your parents being from Ghana, I have several African friends, and it's not uncommon for people to move from Africa to America for a better life for themselves and their family. But I wonder if you ever have thought or sat and thought to yourself what your life would have been like had they not made that shift. Have you ever had that moment?
Absolutely. I've had that. That's been the core of these last 5 years. Just like realization, appreciation. Like yo, it's been a long journey. Like their journey to America, just to have a better opportunity at raising their kids, only for their kids to try and get back home and take everything they've learned, just so we could establish ourselves where we started. That's some real magical shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure talking to you, and you're a thoughtful, deep brother. I appreciate what you do. I want to go through a couple of moments that you've had on Twitter and just get a little context from what you said. On January 7th, 2019, you tweeted, "We don't know who we are till we fail." Give us some context on that.
I mean, I guess I'll keep referencing these last 5 years just because that's that topic. But it's like, I'll reference my first love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember her being like, she was my first love, but she had been in relationships before. She was older than me. I always, I was 7. She was older than me, but I remember her being like, "I'm not gonna be your last," and I'm like, "But does that mean I'm not gonna have a first?" It's like, I'm gonna have a first, and like you happen to be that, but this is the time we met. So that being said, I didn't know it then, but even that decision was me embracing what comes with life, which is attachment and detachment, success and failure, like night and day, like up and down, like those are spiritual principles. So like you can't live a life of security, pseudo security, trying to avoid pain, but then you're also avoiding growth. You're avoiding birth. I've never given birth to a baby, but that shit looked painful. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to embrace the pain to some extent, run towards it, but also not be self-destructive, which is a balance. Because at the same time, you're like, I'm just pain, and it's like, all right, buddy, but like, like joy too, like be happy too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I meant by that, man.
So good. On April 2nd, 2019, you tweeted, "The broken shall be fixed to be broken again."
Like cryptic tweets, man.
Yeah, but I noticed you tweeted that just maybe a few days after the tragic loss of Nipsey Hussle. Was that related in any way?
I mean, definitely, I was just in that space, but that's something that term that came to me in 2018, and again, same philosophy of like, I'm in a position of success, so it's very easy to identify everything I do, even when it's not dope, as success. And it's like, you gotta be able to be real with yourself. And it's like, I only got to this place through a lot of pain. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all pretty. So like in this place of security, due to like my financial security, and like I have a show, and there's this level of success and security that can kind of get in the way of like the natural process of growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like you can't avoid life. So it's like, I'm not trying, my destination is not perfection. My destination is not to be fixed. Like the one of my favorite quotes is like, the cracks is how the light gets in. So it's like, stop trying to be perfect. And like, for me, that was a big weight off my shoulders. Like, give all your imperfections to God, like let him hold that. focus on being human because that's what you are, and use your spirit to guide you because that's what you are. But like not being human, like God already knows you're not perfect. You're not supposed to be. So like don't trivialize yourself. Like again, like you will be fixed and you will be, it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Having lost so many legendary people over the course of the last year, just here recently, Miss Cicely Tyson, rest in peace. One can only help but to think about their own mortality and legacy. What do you think, or at this moment where you are today, what would you want your legacy to be?
Africa. My legacy will be Africa. My name is Nana Kofi. Like that's where I come from. That's where my blood is. So like, shout out to my people coming here, you know, establishing themselves, finding love, creating a space for a family, having my little black self and me and my brothers. But like the legacy is like, I want to raise my kids in Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to spend time just exploring that side of myself. I've spent so much time in America trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get back home. And now I'm like, what does that even mean? You know, what does that even look like? So I think film and art and music like that, I love creativity. So like just to see the wonders of back home, like if they had the tools, the access, the love, the attention, the space to tell those stories, oh my God, you know, it'd be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It has to happen. That's literally like, that's the present moment. That's the future. That's our journey as Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm African American for real. Like I'm African, I'm from Ghana, but I was born in LA. So I'm like, I'm Black, I'm African American, but I'm also Ghanaian. I know my root, and it's like, I don't have to be them individually. Like, how do we connect all of this and utilize it to expand, you know, expand truthfully, you know, as a community. And I think that's what my focus has been, you know, these last 5 years, not really trying to climb up that invisible ladder of success or like try to acquire something out here, but it's like, I'm trying to reclaim my identity essentially, and then blast that, like everybody, like, let's go.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I'm sitting here smiling because I have African friends, as I mentioned, Nigerian, Senegalese, Ghanaian, and as American as they are, when they get passionate, that Ghanaian, that Senegalese, that Nigerian come out. And I heard it come out. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Listen, we're going to prepare to wrap, but I just want to play a quick game with you. It's called My Five Favorites. So I'll give you two options, and you give me your favorite out of the two. First, movies or music?
Music.
Driving or chauffeur?
Driving.
Acting or directing?
Directing.
Talking or texting?
Talking.
And the last, fufu or banku?
Fufu. Ah, come on. It's a fufu right now. Yeah. Come on, that's not a question.
I love it. I love it. Man, I wish you could the best in all your endeavors. Queen Sugar, everybody, listen, this is Kofi Cerebral with Queen Sugar, only on OWN. Be sure to check out your local listings to find the time and show dates. Kofi, I appreciate you joining me.
You too, Cornell. No doubt, man. Talk soon, all right?
All right, appreciate it.